Aberrera, Legos, Rambori, Banish, Satan, Demonio, Dinaja, 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 Aberrera, Legos, Rambori, Aberra Nikos Ram Ori Banish Satan Demonio Dinaja Aberra Nikos Ram Ori Banish Satan Demonio Dinaja Aberra Nikos Ram Ori Banish Satan Demonio Dinaja Aberra Nikos Ram Ori Banish Satan Demonio Dinaja
Hello, hello, and welcome everyone. Welcome to Satan and Coffee, Sunday Black Mass, and as we always begin, Hail Satan, Hail Lilith, Hail Lucifer, Hail Pyman, Hail Baphomet, Hail Thyself. We reject the Trinity, we reject the baptism of John, and we reject the baptism of the Spirit. It is good to see everyone. Hope you're all well on this Sunday morning, afternoon, evening, depending on where it is you are located in the world. So I put a bit of thought and contemplation behind this one. So initially the idea of the Sunday Black Mass was a venture into philosophy, was a venture into spiritual philosophy that could potentially be applied to theistic beliefs, not necessarily a direct focus on the practice of left-hand path magic. But after reading again the Book of Belial and putting some much needed thought into it, I saw many crossovers and many points that apply kind of overall, and sticking with the intent of this show, of this Black Mass, I thought we might as well kind of venture a little bit further, a little bit deeper into the idea of Satanic Magic, left-hand path magic, touching perhaps a little bit deeper into the theistic side of things, while respecting the atheistic beliefs. Now, Anton LaVey, I've always said, in the Satanic Bible is hit or miss. Some things come across as very potentially theistic. Many things come across as very atheistic. It seems like there's a bit of a ebb and flow with where he stands on certain things. And so I thought it important and pertinent to try to encompass both sides of this at the same time. So we'll begin by reading from the chapter, The Theory and Practice of Satanic Magic, and then we will get into my breakdown and summary of how this applies and functions. So, the theory and practice of Satanic Magic, definition and purpose. The definition of magic as used in this book is the change in situations or events in accordance with one's will which would, using normally accepted methods, be unchangeable. This admittedly leaves a large area for personal interpretation. It will be said by some that these instructions and procedures are nothing more than applied psychology or scientific fact, called by magical terminology, until they arrive at a passage in the text that is based on the known scientific finding. It is for this reason that no attempt has been made to limit the explanations set forth to this nomenclature. Magic is never totally scientifically explainable, but science has always been, at one time or another, considered magic. And so this is like one of those points that I'm talking about where you're kind of in the middle ground. He's not saying that magic doesn't exist. He's not saying that you can't work magic. But he is also calling out the reality that many things that today are science were once before considered magic. So this is to say that to some degree, science and magic do kind of work hand in hand. And we can't ignore that there are things that we are capable of doing as magicians, black magicians or otherwise, that defy logic and explanation, that we're incapable of explaining outside of the realm of saying, I made this happen. There's no difference between white and black magic, except in the smug hypocrisy, guilt-ridden righteousness, and self-deceit of the white magician himself. In the classical religious tradition, white magic is performed for altruistic, benevolent, and good purposes, while black magic is used for self-aggrandizement, personal power, and evil purposes. No one on earth ever pursued occult studies, metaphysics, yoga, or any other white light concept without ego gratification and personal power as a goal. It just so happens that some people enjoy wearing hair shirts and others prefer velvet or silk. What is pleasure to one is pain to another, and the same applies to good and evil. Every practitioner in witchcraft is convinced that he or she is doing the right thing. Magic falls into two categories, ritual or ceremonial, and non-ritual or manipulative. Ritual magic consists of the performance of a formal ceremony taking place, at least in part, within the confines of an area set aside for such purposes and at a specific time. Its main function is to isolate and otherwise dissipate adrenal and other emotionally induced energy and convert it into dynamically transmittable force. It is purely an emotional rather than intellectual act. Any and all intellectual activity must take place before the ceremony, not during it. This type of magic is sometimes known as greater magic. Non-ritual or manipulative magic, sometimes called lesser magic, consists of the wile and guile obtained through various devices and contrived situations which, when utilized, can create change in accordance with one's will. In olden times, this would be called fascination, glamour, or the evil eye. Most of the victims of the witch trials were not witches. Often the victims were eccentric old women who were either senile or did not conform to society. Others were exceptionally attractive women who turned the heads of the men in power and were not responsive to their advances. The real witches were rarely executed or even brought to trial. as they were proficient in the art of enchantment and could charm the men and save their own lives. Most of the real witches were sleeping with the inquisitors. This is the origin of the word glamour. The antique meaning of glamour is witchcraft. The most important asset to the modern witch is her ability to be alluring, or to utilize glamour. The word fascination has a similarly occult origin. Fascination was the term applied to the evil eye, to fix a person's gaze. In other words, fascinate was to curse them with the evil eye. Therefore, if a woman had the ability to fascinate men, she was regarded as a witch. Learning to effectively utilize the command to look in an integral part of a witch's or warlock's training. To manipulate a person, you must first be able to attract and hold his attention. The three methods by which the command to look can be accomplished are the utilization of sex, sentiment, or wonder, or any combination of these. A witch must honestly decide into which category she most naturally falls. The first category, that of sex, is self-evident. If a woman is attractive or sexually appealing, she should do everything in her power to make herself as enticing as possible, thereby using sex as her most powerful tool. Once she has gained the man's attention by using her sex appeal, she is free to manipulate him to her will. The second category is sentiment. Usually older women fit into this category. This would include the cookie lady type witch, who might live in a little cottage and be thought of by people as being a bit eccentric. Children are usually enchanted by the fantasy that this type of witch can provide for them. The young adults seek her out for her sage-like advice. Through their innocence, children can recognize her magical power by conforming to an image of the sweet little old lady next door. She can employ the art of misdirection to accomplish her goals. Third category is the wonder theme. This category would apply to the woman who is strange or awesome in her appearance. By making her strange appearance work for her, she can manipulate people simply because they are fearful of the consequences should they not do as she asks. And I believe that these categories don't only fall in with females. I believe that men can take advantage of this as well. Now, these are definitely just taking advantage of things that you already have available to you. But at the end of the day, that's what magic is, right? Like, if you believe and you think of magic as manipulation of energy in the world around you, then essentially what we are doing is we are doing just the same. This energy exists, has existed, and has always been. It is always available to us. So magic is the manipulation of that energy, is the manipulation of situation, circumstance. And within that manipulation, we are taking advantage of a situation that has already pre-existed, that is in front of us, that is available to us, an energy source that is and always has been available to us. It can be taking advantage of your physical appearance. It can be potentially, possibly, more than that. Many men defended these archaic times than we see in today. True. This is very true. So to break this down, okay, so as you've seen today, we're going to be diving into the core of our practice, of any occult practice, okay? So that is what we're looking at. We're looking at the core of this magic and how to work with it. Okay? Satanic magic is not a mere spectacle of rituals and incantations. It is the harnessing of the will, the channeling of our deepest desires into reality. It is the art of bending the world to our will, of becoming the architects of our own destiny. And this is the essence of any and all magic. Satanic magic is grounded in the understanding that the universe is neutral, without inherent morality. This is an important thing to understand. The universe does not have an inherent sense of morality. It is neither good nor evil. It simply is. It just exists, and it has always existed. In this understanding lies our power. There are no cosmic forces to oppose our will, no divine morality to bind us. We, as the left-hand path, as satanic magicians, as black magicians, recognize that magic is the manipulation of energy through focused intent. It is the projection of our will, our desires, and our emotions into the universe to shape reality as we see fit. That is the essence of magic across the board, and especially in the left-hand path. It isn't to say there isn't any deification or any deities or gods or demons that you can't work with. It's not to say that those do not exist. Of course they do, and we know this to be true. But just as the energy of the universe is neutral, the things, the entities that we so decide to work with are not limiting us and saying, you can't do that. It's do as you will. It's also not to say there isn't consequences for doing as you will. There always is. But those consequences are suffered here. There is no grand damnation after everything is said and done. Within the confines of the Satanic Bible, there are 3 types of satanic ritual. And I believe that these can be applied to the left-hand path in general. Now, I'm going to be making a video this week talking about the differences here between left-hand path and demonolatry. And the reason I feel the necessity to kind of create that is I believe that there's this inherent idea that the left-hand path is and always will include working with demons or worshiping Satan or things of that nature. And I believe there needs to be a definition, a separation created for a better understanding. Because make no mistake, atheistic Satanists at the end of the day are still left-hand path, regardless of whether they believe or do not believe in magic or working with demons or working with Satan or invocation, evocation. Despite or in spite, despite the absence of that belief, that aspect of their system, they are still left-hand path. So, LaVey teaches us that the satanic magic manifests through 3 types of ritual, each with its unique purpose and power. "100% correct, Ira. Yes. Working with demons isn't inherently an LHP thing either. Though the overlap with demonolatry and LHP is more common than with LHP, the reverse. So, these 3 types of rituals. We have a lust ritual. These rituals are performed to invoke the forces of desire and attraction, whether it be for love, sexual gratification, or the fulfillment of a deep-seated cravings. Lust rituals channel the raw, primal energy of the practitioner to magnetize what they seek. Second type of ritual, compassion rituals. These are rituals of empathy designed to heal, to comfort, or to assist oneself or others. Compassion rituals tap into the Satanist or the occultist capacity for deep emotional connection, using this energy to bring about positive outcomes for those they choose to aid. And the third type of ritual, destruction rituals, the most feared and misunderstood of rites. Destruction rituals are performed to bring harm to those who would have wronged the practitioner. These rituals channel anger, hatred, and the desire for vengeance, focusing these emotions into a potent force capable of obliterating the target's life or well-being. Each ritual serves a purpose and taps into different aspects of the practitioner's psyche, but all are driven by the same principle: the focused application of the will to achieve specific outcomes. Your intent, your focused intent in the magic you perform, regardless of it being ritual or spell work, is the most important aspect of what you are doing to create and build the world around you. Now, the role of the ritual chamber, we talked about this a little bit by reading the Book of Belial. The ritual chamber is more than just a space for conducting ceremonies. It is a sacred and powerful environment charged with the energies of the practitioner. It is a place where the Satanist or the occultist is free to express their deepest desires, their darkest impulses, without fear of judgment or repercussion. Within the chamber, symbols, tools, and gestures act as conduits, amplifying the practitioner's intent and aligning it with the forces of darkness. Now, saying the forces of darkness, this is an interesting statement, because the inherent reaction of the human mind is to move to what is considered to be evil, what is negative and bad, because we're talking about darkness. And as a point that I've always discussed and talked about, it is important to understand that we, as physical and spiritual creatures, have both the dark side of ourselves and the lighter side of ourselves. They're forever together. They never meet, but both are what comprise us of being who we are. We cannot deny one side for the other. We have to have a level of balance in our existence and understanding of who we are. Without that, we're working at half capacity. If we only focus on the dark and what could be considered negative, then we are denying the power of the lighter side of ourselves. The balance that it provides, the compassion, the empathy, the understanding, the desire for better. If we only focus on the light side, we're denying the power of the darker side of ourselves and the lessons that we have learned as to why that part of us exists. And by denying that side of ourselves, we condemn ourselves to continually repeat our mistakes. So aligning ourselves with the forces of darkness, to say, is for me to say, aligning ourselves with our own personal balance, our understanding of ourselves. Whether it be a lust ritual, compassion ritual, a destruction ritual. Each of those takes from both sides. Without understanding both sides, we'll never truly achieve the goals that we are doing these rituals for, because we're working at half capacity. The importance of timing and emotion. So, Satanic Magick is not just about words and actions. It is about timing and emotion. LaVey emphasizes that the success of any ritual is heavily dependent on the emotional state of the practitioner. If you're not emotionally into it, we talked about this on Friday. We talked about mindset. Mindset is your emotional state. If you're not in the right emotional state, if you're not in the right mindset when you're performing a ritual, the potential success of that ritual is nil. The emotions must be real, intense, and fully experienced. Whether it is the fiery passion of lust, the deep compassion of healing, or the burning rage of destruction, the power of Satanic Magick lies in the authenticity and the intensity of these emotions. Timing, too, plays a role. Rituals are most effective when performed at the peak of emotional energy, when the desire for manifestation is at its most potent. And this doesn't just apply to Satanic Magick. This applies to any and all magic. The most pertinent time to perform a ritual, the most pertinent time to perform magic, is when you are at an emotional peak with what it is that you want to manifest. And to kind of close like this aspect, this part of things out, this kind of like the synopsis here. Let's just remember one thing. So left-hand path magic or Satanic Magick is not a tool for the weak or the fearful. It is the manifestation of the strong, the willful, and the defiant. Through the teachings of people like LaVey and many others, we are empowered to take control of our lives, to shape reality according to our desires, and to stand as gods in our own right. It is extremely important to remember this. When we discuss and when we talk about left-hand path magic, Satanic Magick, this is not a tool for someone that is weak in mind. It is not a tool for someone that is afraid of asserting their will. Now, through the understandings of the left-hand path, the philosophy of the left-hand path, the philosophies riddled throughout the Satanic Bible, it's one of the reasons why, though I don't personally consider myself a Satanist, the Satanic Bible is my life philosophy, is the book that I go to when I seek understanding, when I seek something deeper to deal with a situation that is arising in my life. It has always been the book that I always go back to, because it's not about falling down on your knees and surrendering to God and saying to some invisible, supposedly benevolent being, take control of my life. The Satanic Bible exists to be the adversary of that and say it is your life, you take control of it. Stop trying to ask something else to take control of your life because you're too weak to handle it. Grow a pair and deal with your shit. Responsibility to the responsible. personal accountability. You are where you are because of choices you made. And the only way of changing your life and creating something different is by making different choices. Sitting there and feeling sorry for yourself isn't doing shit. Now, I understand that there's many people out there that want sympathy and want empathy and want understanding, and that's perfectly fine. But don't come to me for that. Look to your mother. Suckle the tit of your mother like a babe and look for sympathy for your mistakes that way. This is not the place for that. This is the place you come when you're ready to make choices to get out of the shit that you put yourself into. That's what the left-hand path is. Because you are the only one that is responsible for your mistakes, for your misjudgments, and for being where you are. And it sounds rude, and it sounds mean, and it sounds uncaring, but I believe that that is the most caring thing that you can do for another human being, is allow them to see that they have the power. They have the power. You have the power to change everything around you. The only one that does have the power to make any changes in your life is you. Your choices, your decisions. And I've used myself as an example so many times. I had a shitty upbringing. I wasn't brought up in any money or loving family. I lived on the streets several times. And the only reason why people helped me get out of the situation, because I'm not going to deny that I had help. Of course I had help. Of course I had people that assisted me in the situations that I was in. But the only reason these people assisted me in the situation that I put myself into is because, by my own account, they believed that I wanted to get out of it. They believed I wanted something more. Nobody's going to help somebody that's comfortable in the situation that they're in. Because if you don't believe in you, then nobody else is going to believe in you. But I believed that I could get out of the situations that I was in, and I did. So it's not to say that you're pulling yourself up and you're getting yourself off of the street. We are human beings, and as human beings, social interaction is extremely necessary. For our mental health, for our physical health, for our very existence. You don't have a job unless someone gives you a job, and the only reason they give you a job is because they believe that you're capable of doing the work that they're paying you to do. It's a two-pronged system. You learn your shit, you know what the fuck it is you're doing, you go to the job, you give them your resume, you do the interview, and then they give you the fucking job. It's the same thing when you're in a difficult situation in your life. It's the same exact thing. If you don't believe in yourself, that you know what you're doing, or you know how to get out of a negative situation, or that you even want to get out of a negative situation, then nobody's going to help you. What help can they offer someone that doesn't want it? This is where the manifestation comes in. need to manifest that desire. You need to want to get out of the shithole that you're in before you can actually get out of it. But if you're sitting there saying, hey, well, this is my life. This is all my life is going to amount to. This is the only thing I'm ever going to have. So I might as well be okay with this. Then guess what? Then that's the only fucking thing that you're ever going to have. So stop bitching and complaining about it, because you put yourself there. And you are allowing yourself to stay there. Change your fucking mindset first. Get off your ass and do something. Now, some people aren't ready. I'm not talking to those people. If you're not ready to make that move, to make that change, I'm not talking to you. If you're not looking for a kick in the ass to say, yes, I can fucking do this. Yes, I am powerful. Yes, I am the most powerful being in my own existence. If you're not ready to hear that, if you're not ready to accept that, I'm not talking to you. I'm not going to sit here and cater to the people who's like, but this happened, and that happened, and oh, poor me, and poor... I am not catering to you. This isn't for you. I don't want you to feel sorry for yourself. I'm sorry you're in a shitty situation. I'm sorry that bad shit happened in your life. I'm sorry that because of those bad situations and the bad shit that happened in your life, it led to you making bad choices or half-assed choices that put you in a bad situation. I'm sorry that you're there. But I'm here to tell you right now that the only person that's going to get you the fuck out of it is you. You have that power. You have that ability. There's a reason the slogan to everything I do is Hail Thyself. Not Hail Baphomet, not Hail Satan, not Hail Lilith. Those are parts of it, but the primary, the slogan of everything that I do, of everything that I put out there, Apocrypha, Satan, and Coffee, the next podcast that I'm going to be doing with Black Witch Dyra, the adversary of my adversary, slogan is the same for everything. Hail Thyself. Whether you're an atheist or you're a theist, or you work with demons or you don't work with demons, or you work with dark gods or you work with light gods, working with deities is the same thing as working with people. Do you actually think that Belial, Baphomet, Lilith, Lucifer, Satan, Hymen, any of these entities are going to really want to help you if you really don't want to help yourself? Do you think anyone's going to want to give you a job if you're not confident in your abilities to do it? Regardless of your experience, but if they see in the interview, hence the reason there is an interview, that you do not seem confident in your knowledge to perform the task, you're not going to get the job. Everything ties back to you. It will always tie back to you. And I'm not telling you to feel sorry for yourself. I'm not telling you to be depressed. I'm not telling you to sit there and say, oh, well, fuck, yeah, he's right. I fucked up. Fuck, what's wrong with... Shut up. Stop feeling sorry for yourself and make the changes that you want to see happen in your life. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not a simple process. There's going to be pitfalls and mistakes along the way. There's going to be 3 steps forward and 4 steps back and 2 steps forward and 1 step back. These are natural and normal parts of a process, but it is your determination and your focus on yourself and the betterment of yourself that is going to get you there. Nobody's life is perfect. Perfect doesn't exist. It's another thing everyone needs to stop focusing on. Do not try to reach for perfection because you are never going to obtain it. Exactly. It's okay to be down. It's okay to feel the emotions that you're feeling about a negative and bad situation. That is perfectly fine. That's normal. Don't live there. And the left-hand path teaches us this. It allows us to understand that all of the people that we look at, we look up to, we said, I wish I was like that person. The reason these people are where they are, many of these people, whether they're actors or they're athletes or they're business owners, entrepreneurs, whomever, the reason they are where they are is because they didn't give up and they used the magic inside of themselves to create situations and opportunities that they could take advantage of. Didn't happen overnight. It was a process. They weren't always famous. They weren't always great athletes. They weren't always amazing entrepreneurs with shit tons of money. They weren't always these people. These were people that started in fucking closets with an idea, and they took that idea of what they wanted to do and they made it fucking happen. They found the right people to put it together and they just went with it. Everyone watching this, whether it is now while it is live or after it is recorded, you are capable, perfectly capable, 100% capable of doing the exact same thing. And that, my friends, brothers and sisters, that is the power of left-hand path magic. That understanding, that simple understanding, is the power of magic. With that being said, everyone, that is going to be it. That is going to conclude today's episode of Satan and Coffee, Sunday Black Mass. And to close, as we always do, again, hail Satan, hail Lilith, hail Lucifer, hail Hymen, hail Baphomet, but most of all, hail thy fucking self. And I'll see you in the next. Peace the fuck out, everybody. Goodbye.